Good evening. You're watching Reporter's Diary on the Eco of India's digital platforms. And before we move ahead with updates on region, let me share with you some interesting information, some points which are in news today. Let's start with COVID. Sustained drop in mortality rate and rise in recovery has led to steady decline in active COVID-19 cases across India for the sixth consecutive day, the Union Health Ministry said today. There are 5,33,787 active cases of coronavirus infections in the country as on date, which comprise only 6.42% of the total case load, while the total number of recoveries has surged to 76,56,478, pushing the national recovery rate to over 92%. Now, that's something positive which is happening. Army General M.M. Naravane today arrived in Nepal on a 3-day visit, which is aimed at resetting the bilateral ties that came under severe strain recently following a bitter border row between the two countries. The army chief was accompanied by his wife Veena Naravane, who is the chairperson of the Army Wives Welfare Association of the Indian Army. General Naravane is visiting Nepal at the official invitation of the country's army chief Pen Purna Chandra Thapa. The Union Cabinet has given green signal to the signing of an MOU between India and Israel for cooperation in the field of health and medicine, according to the statement issued today. The MOU covers areas of cooperation such as exchange and training of medical doctors and other health professionals, assistance in development of human resources, and setting up of healthcare facilities and exchange of information regarding regulation of pharmaceutical, medical devices, and cosmetics, the statement said. The National Green Tribunal today expanded the ambit of hearing cases on pollution by use of firecrackers beyond the NCR and issued notices 18 states and union territories where air quality is beyond norms. A bench headed by NGT chairperson Justice Adarsh Kumar Goel mentioned that it has already issued notice to Delhi, Haryana, and Uttar Pradesh, and the state governments of Odisha and Rajasthan have already issued a notification prohibiting the sale and use of firecrackers. The NGT panel has also sought response in this regard from Andhra Pradesh, Assam, Bihar, Chandigarh, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Jharkhand, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Uttarakhand, and West Bengal. Now, the interesting US elections, which everybody is watching very closely. With counting of votes reaching the last lap, US President Donald Trump today claimed that a major fraud is being perpetrated on the American people and said he will fight election in the Supreme Court. All of a sudden, everything just stopped. This is a quote. This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election. This is the quote of the president. The president said, without citing any evidence of a fraud in the electoral process. So these were the major headlines. Now I'm joined by Razia from Port Blair. Razia, what all is happening?
Good evening, Shafi. Shafi, I would like to start with the three liquor bar which is sealed by the district administration. The district exercise department has sealed three bars for violation of COVID-19 SOPs issued by the district administration in South Andaman. In view of precautionary measures to prevent COVID-19 in the South Andaman, the exercise department are doing regularly surprise visits to various bars, and they have noticed that three bars are violating the COVID-19 SOPs. No thermal checkups are done before the people who are visiting the bar, and no gloves or head caps are used while cooking food inside the kitchen of the bar. So they have been fined, and the bar has been fined and sealed by the authorities. Another news is, Shafi, the Andaman Nicobar police fighting against drug peddling in these isles, because in the recently 41 cases has been registered, 62 arrested, and 294 kgs of metamorphosis and 59 kgs of illicit ganja has been seized. So the Andaman Nicobar police is very firm to arrest, to nab these illegal activities done by the people here and to curb the sale of ganja in these islands. And the last one is Shafi, and in Andaman Nicobar Island, finally the tourists are visiting these days. Of course, COVID-19 precautions are taken by the tourists also because there is no medicine till date. But slowly, gradually, the tourists are visiting, and the tour operators are somewhat satisfied and happy. And in the future, in coming days, there must be more and more tourists in these islands. So for now, that's all from Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Shafi.
Let me just repeat, Razia, one news that we have talked about
Yes,
yesterday and today. There was a fire. Yes. So, what is
yes,
the
sir.
status now? Is there a development out there?
The fire is that wooden building is completely gutted, and still the investigation is going on. The reason behind the fire, of course, crores of properties has been saved, Shafi, because there are two hotels both the side. So with the conscious of or the with the teamwork of fire brigade, this has been saved. The rest of the crores of properties have been saved, but still the reason of the fire is under investigation. And it's a very old wooden
All,
building, Shafi. Very old wooden building.
all right, Razia, thank you so much. And viewers, we also have another piece of information. Union Home Minister is expected to arrive tonight in Kolkata, and he's got a 2 day schedule in the state. But tomorrow's what we have been able to. Yes, now we are joined by Riddhi Nandi. Perhaps she'll be having more about Union Home Minister's visit. Yes, Riddhi, what all is happening in Calcutta?
Hi, Safi. The first news that I have is a that broke out in a firecracker factory in South 24 Parganas today led to devastation in the area. The incident occurred this afternoon at Champahati, which is known for local firecracker industry. A shop caught fire and allowed it to spread to adjacent house and shops, which were severely damaged. Some shops and houses were collapsed. 3 engines of fire brigade was rushed to the spot for dousing the fire, and the personnel said that they are yet to find out the source of the fire. It deserves mention here that the West Bengal government had already urged people to refrain from using firecrackers during Kali Puja and Diwali this year in the view of the COVID-19 pandemic. Yet large amount of firecrackers were being manufactured in Champahati, which raised the question over monitoring by the local administration. And Safi, now I have the schedule of Shri
Yes,
Amit
Champahati,
Shah,
it's a big
Minister
news,
of
big
the Home.
fire. Yes,
Now I have the schedule
yes,
of
go ahead,
Shri
Riddhi.
Amit Shah, Minister of the Home Minister. He's about to land at 8 p.m. today in Kolkata, uh, as per the new information I have received. But his schedule is of tomorrow,
Right.
and he'll be at Kolkata International Airport. From there, he will be at Bakura helipad. The purpose is landing the statue of Birsa Munda. Then he'll be at Ravindra Bhavan, Bakura. The purpose is of the organizational meeting there, and then he'll have the lunch at Chaturidhi village. BJP West Bengal party, the people of West Bengal from the
All
BJP
right.
are
Yes, yes, I got your point.
very
There is another program which he'll be having at around 3 o'clock. Viewers, which is at Rabindra Bhavan, Bankura. So there's a whole list of programs which the Union Minister is expected to attend tomorrow, and thereafter on the day next is another schedule that will be available to us as well in due course of time. So it's a 2 day schedule, and the region which is going to get covered tomorrow is primarily Bankura. All right. So this is all we have, and the other pieces of information, viewers, which are developing in the region, which you are aware of, is what all is happening in the hills. Yesterday, you had this Gorkha Janamukti Morcha, Binay Tamang, the leader and chief minister meeting, and simultaneously we are also getting vibes from the Bimal Gurung faction. So there is definitely something politically building up in the hills, and now the two factions are vying for the space. So it's interesting in a sense, and it's also very what do you call important in a sense to see what all percolates out of these discussions, these parleys which are taking place in the hills. Thank you, Riddhi Nandi. Thank you, Razia, for joining
See, I
Reporters
have
Diary
a
this
few.
evening. Viewers, this is all we have. Yes, please, Riddhi,
Sorry,
you
I
still
have
have
few.
something to mention?
Yes, I have a few information about hills also.
Yes, please, go ahead.
The hills that I would like to mention here is that Mirik has come up to be a major battleground between Binoy Tamang and Bimal Gurung factions of the GJM in these days. While the followers of the Bimal Gurung have held several rallies and meetings there in support of Gurung, today supporters of Binoy Tamang of Chota Tingling of Mirik met and expressed their solidarity with Binoy Tamang Amit Thapa group. They said that it was this group that would be able to bring peace and prosperity in the hills. That's all, Safi.
All right, so a lot of development taking place, and we certainly have to keep a watch on what all is happening. And the biggest development in the in terms of news is the U.S. election. So please keep watching. It's still a little more time before the picture gets a little more clear, like who's going to be finally heading towards or inching closer towards the post of the president. But thank you, Riddhi. Thank you, Razia, for joining Reporters Diary. Viewers, this is all we have this evening. Thank you.